Today I wanted to sort of talk about how we approach our instrument and the energy in which we approach our instrument. And the way that we approach our instrument can be for many different ways and for many different reasons. But last night I was working with a patient who is a fairly new mandolin player, just a couple of years out. She has significant pain in her left hand. Significant pain to the point where she can't really play for more than a couple minutes. So one of the things that I always do with my patients is I look at their technique when they play, because I want to look at their posture, I want to look at everything. So when she approached her instrument, it was with extreme tension and almost some fear, because she was trying to stabilize the instrument and hold on kind of for dear life. So the energy that she approached her instrument with was this. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but this is literally how she approached her instrument. So her hand is really, really tense. You can sort of see the curve, all right? Tweaking of the wrist and the tension that she had, all right? Now, why she does this, it's, we kind of dug into it, and a lot of it is because she wasn't feeling that the instrument was stable in her lap, because she was sitting, and even with the strap, it wasn't all that stable. So she was kind of holding on for dear life, and it was a habit that she started when she first started to play her instrument. You don't know any better. Like when you're first starting to learn, you're just playing. So some of this was just habit. So the amazing thing is that you can change these things, which is great. So one of the things that I had her do is I had her just close her eyes and just relax. And then that took her out of this crazy posture of she was in this position. As soon as she closed her eyes, she came up like this. Totally took the stress level down, all right? And the tension in her hand decreased probably by about 30% just by doing that, okay? So then, you work on, making sure that the instrument is stable and other things. But her approach to her instrument was automatic stress and tension. Automatic stress and tension. So I want you to think about how are you approaching your instrument, and this is good for you if you are a teacher, because teach these things to your students, because you want to get them off on the right foot. So how are they approaching their instrument? Are they approaching their instrument like this? Oh my God, I gotta play. Or are they approaching their instrument kind of calm and relaxed? Because that long pressure, and she's been playing for about 2 years. So it's been 2 years, and now she can't really play that much because her hand hurts so much. And she loves it, and she wants to do it. And there's no reason she can't. We just have to tweak some things. So keep this in mind when you're teaching your students. Think about how they're approaching their instrument. What kind of stress level are they approaching their instrument, and how does their body look when they're actually approaching their instrument? So I took my flute out, which I don't do that often, but I'm just kind of for an example. So what you can do is when you approach your instrument, I could be like this. You see how tense I am? I'm like, oh my God. Right? And I've seen people play this way. I have seen people at master classes play this way. They're very tense. I've actually seen people play like this. Or you can approach your instrument and be completely relaxed. All right. Now, it's hard to see with my hands, but my hands were like this. I don't know if you can see the energy there on the first time. And then my hands were like this the second time. Okay, so it's all very making sure that you're relaxed. The other thing that a lot of people do, and what she was doing last night, is on the neck of her instrument, she was extending these two fingers, hyperextending these two joints here, and curling these two joints. So if you're on the mandolin neck, we're going to pretend this is a mandolin. All right, she's like this. So she's up way above the strings, and all this tension is staying stagnant in her hand, all right, as she's waiting to depress the strings, okay? So she's tense, and then she's got to come down. And ironically, most of her pain was in her thumb and her two fingers. So she's holding on for dear life with her thumb on the back of the instrument, and then really cranking into these fingers, this first and second finger, okay? So the tension that was there was intense. And it's kind of the same thing with any instrument. I could be like a key slapper, all right? Or I could just that kind of thing. And the further your fingers are away from your instrument, the harder it is for them to get down quicker. And what you will see a lot of the time is the tension in your hand. Like, I don't know, again, it's hard to see. So the tension in my fingers is I'm really got everything tense, or I'm relaxed. You see the difference? So that's all about how we approach our instrument. Now, it can be how you start to play your instrument, like when you initially sit down and play. You can attend, like she was, very tense when she sat down to play. Or it can be when there's a passage that's really, really difficult. So if you have a piece and there's a passage that's just kicking your butt and you're like, oh God, it's so hard. A lot of times we will bear down into it, all right? And when we bear down into it, we get that static pressure all the time. And if it's a piece that's like a whole piece and not just a phrase that's tense, that's really challenging, then you're going to be bearing down even more. So be aware of the tension in your body and how you're approaching your instrument, because it can have effects later on. It can definitely have effects later on. I know that my poor little thumb from playing has residual effects from me kind of holding on to it and being in a bad position when I was actually at my instrument playing. And I want you to think about this with your students too, because it's all about kind of starting them off on the right foot so that they can be as tension-free as possible, because these static tensions will lead to problems in the future. So think about the energy that you're approaching your instrument at. And there's all sorts of different techniques to kind of calm that energy down. But first you have to look at why the energy is there in the first place. Is it a habit? Is it an instrument positional thing? Is it stress and emotional stuff that's going on within the person? Is it the piece that is causing the increase in tension because there's a fear of not being able to play it correctly? Is the piece owning you, or are you owning the piece emotionally? Because if the piece is owning you, you're going to get more tense and everything's going to get tight. You don't want to be like this. You want to be like this. All right. So nice and calm. So I'm going to leave you with calm for Friday. And if you need like tips for, relaxation and all those kinds of things, there's tons of things, and we're going to talk about that at another point in time. But I just thought it was very interesting to see her, and I've seen other patients do this as well. And there are ways to fix it, and it's just breaking the habits and changing things a little bit. But make sure that you're approaching your instrument in like a calm, loving, excited way, and not in that fear, constant posture. All right, so have a nice, relaxing Zen weekend. I'm going to be at dance recital all day Saturday, 3 of them. Give me strength. I'm going to need some Zen meditation for Saturday. So anyways, hope you all have a great weekend.